Hi, what's up, stoners? Welcome to the local band Smokeout.
This is Matt from War Chariot, and you're watching local band Smokeout.
Alright, what's up, stoners? Welcome to the local band Smokeout. I'm your host, is How the Most BG. We don't do these very often, but I have a lot of fun when we do them. This is an EP review from Texas Taliban. They're out of El Paso, Texas. You can find their, as mentioned, they're a metal band. You can find it at Texas Taliban, but the B in Taliban you're gonna put as a 3 to get to the correct site. For fans of hardcore groove, thrash, and murder thrash. So the way I do my EP reviews is we're going to listen a little bit of all 5 songs. I've already listened to all 5, got all my notes right here. I'm going to read those notes off before we do each song. The very end, I kind of do like a pros and cons thing, mention my favorite track, and we'll also shoot a special episode just for that track. And then I'll give you guys the score. First one is Runs on Hate. Actually, I believe that this is not the correct order the EP is in. I realized that after I'd already done it, but it gets the point across. Runs on Hate, I wrote down, starts heavy right out of the gate, picks up and really gets going after the hook. I get a lot of hardcore vibes from it vocally. You can definitely hear the thrash riffs throughout. Solo is very, very cool. And then you kind of get some Slipknot vibes at the end of the song. Tell me what you think. Runs on Hate. It's clearly mastered. It's so loud I had to turn it down a little bit so you can even hear some of the stuff I'm doing. But yeah, so when I do these, I kind of play like a little bit of every single song on your EP and album. Otherwise, you're just kind of sitting there looking at me, watching me just go like for 40 minutes. So we skip through a little bit, but there's a lot of cool things I point out that I want you guys to hear. Like definitely check out the solo. Runs on Hate. So to me, at the end, it has like a little bit of a Slipknot kind of vibe at the end of that song. Track 2 is going to be Expect No Mercy, even though it's not in the order right here. I believe this is track 2, Expect No Mercy. I wrote down, has some Pantera style riffs in the beginning, angry throughout the song, which is awesome. Drums sound fantastic. Screams seem a little more brutal to me on this song. And there's some really quick, cool drum fills I want you guys to look for. Yeah, I kind of get like a Pantera vibe right there.
Your time is over. Summer retreat. Your lights are broken. Central defeat. So tell me if that's what you wanna do. Your name is shutting if you're ready.
That's nasty. These guys have really, really good energy this whole CD.
I'm fucking ready. Ready for war.
go.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
El Paso, Texas. It's kind of obviously called Texas Taliban. Expect No Mercy was the second one I reviewed. Then came Tu Re Muerto. And this song is very different than every other song on the EP. Acoustic guitar to start with, which was extremely beautiful. There's very raw vocals kind of going on in it. At times you get like a little bit of a Stone Sour vibe. Fantastic guitar melodies. So far every song has really sweet guitar parts throughout, is what I wrote down. This one's a little bit different. Tu Re Muerto. If you guys want to continue the listening experience of this review, please go to Texas Taliban on Spotify. Hit that follow button for them. Let's get their numbers up. This is where I got those Stone Sour vibes.
Guess you would say I've always lost.
Then it kind of gets a little heavy. This is guitar harmony. Woo. All right. You're just checking out. I feel like we're live for a second. Sorry. We're jamming Texas Taliban's EP. We're doing an EP review right now. El Paso, Texas. Facebook.com/Texas Taliban. But take out that B and put a 3, and you'll get to the right place. Yeah! 4th song's gonna be Supremacy. I wrote down, I love how every song is just so angry. So like even that song kind of got angry. The 3rd song we kind of got angry halfway through. There's really cool chug style riffs going on this one. Kind of creepy vocals halfway through. This band never misses an opportunity to kill it in the guitar solo area. This is the last thing I wrote down. There's a really good solo on this one, Supremacy. Texas Taliban.
I can't kill me, makes me stronger. I can't kill me, makes me stronger. I can't kill me, makes me stronger. You can't kill me, cause I raise supremacy. Never want the trees are burning. I just don't say no, no illusion. I'm turning to now. My reason, no intentions as it all. Live for what you sow. Live for what you owe.
The vocals sound so big right there. Like whoever mixed it just made them sound huge right at that part. Dimebag influence for sure. You can just hear it. You can just hear the Dimebag influence. You know, it's funny too. One time I did say something like that to a different band, and they were like, "Nah, dude, not influenced at all." And I was just like completely caught off guard. I was like, "What? You could hear it in your music," but they were like, "Nope." Oh, well. And that leads us to the 5th and final, called America. For that one I had written down, well, obviously it's the outro song. It has a similar vibe to the rest of the EP. Nice and loud and fast, and another Pantera style solo. And the solos are just wicked on this EP. So actually before we start it, one of my cons Well, I'll do the pros and the cons right after this. But one of my cons were that I wish there was more parts like this where you can kind of hear that bass all by itself. I felt like the bass was like a little bit lost in some of the mix for the rest of the song. It's just dominated by vocals and guitar, which is cool. You predominantly want the drums, vocals, and guitar, and the bass kind of gets tucked underneath. But to me, it was lost in some spots. So one of my cons was I think it would have been cool if they could showcase the bass a little bit more in the other tracks. But clearly in track 5, you can definitely hear it.
Thank you. I like the bass.
The drums are really fast in the song. You gotta like listen. He does some really quick like he throws in like 7 or 8 really quick snare hits and then goes back to other stuff like out of nowhere. There's some quick like super fills and parts. Taliban. Whew. A lot going on in this EP. I liked it a lot. Overall, I went 8.6 and a 10, with my favorite track being Expect No Mercy. For the pros, I wrote down great production. There's some really, really cool production stuff going on in it. All the solos are just, I don't want to say they steal the show, but for me, they're probably like one of my favorite things about the whole CD is all the crazy, awesome solos going on this CD. Some parts sound so much, this is also pros, some parts sound so much like Pantera and Slipknot, and I mean that as a compliment. I think it's cool when bands have similar aspects and influence that you could hear in their music. For my cons, I only wrote down 2, and I already told you one of them. I thought there should have been a little bit more of the bass, kind of like it is in the beginning of America, kind of thrown out there in certain parts, like a little more stops for guitar, let the bass go for a second, then come back in, whatever. And then my main con was actually on track 1, Runs on Hate. I thought that the screaming in the hooks sounded strange. Like when I first was listening to it, it threw me off a little bit. The song itself is a great song. I just thought whoever mixed the hook screams were strange, so much that when I did the second track, one of the first things I wrote down, which the second track I did was Expect No Mercy, I wrote down, screams seem more brutal to me on this song, and then I proceeded to do the rest of them, and they kind of had that same vibe. So that's just, it's not that big a deal. Sometimes that's the mixer's fault, whoever, blah, blah, blah. Overall, though, you guys definitely want to jam this. 8.6 out of 10. El Paso, Texas is where they're from. Texas Taliban be the name. Facebook.com/Texas Taliban, but make sure you toss that B and put a 3 in there in Taliban. Texas Taliban with the 3 instead of a B, so you can get to the correct Facebook page, like them, and support them. Really, really cool dudes, and I appreciate them opting to do this. We don't do them very often, but I have a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully we can get them in on the stream soon, and you guys can be able to jam some of these during the streams, like I said. And yeah, look out later today for a separate episode of Texas Taliban and me doing Expect No Mercy, because that was my favorite track. And yeah, other than that, I am your host, is How the Most BG, saying cheers, keep blazing. And if anyone is interested in having me do one of these for you, go to localbandsmokeout.com and look for this submit section. Cheers. I missed something.
Smoke weed every day.
Peace.